Hello everyone, my name is Srishti and in this video we will talk about the use of two different modals. One is should and the other is ought to. Many times since we don't use ought to very often, so people don't realize that is it a modal and what is the need of using it. However, through this video we will try to make you understand the exact use of ought to and should. So let's start. Read the two sentences that are mentioned on your screen. First is, you ought to find a job. Okay. And the second one is, you should not have lied to me. You can also pronounce it as shouldn't. You shouldn't have lied to me. Both are same. What is the difference between these two sentences? One, at the first place, I'm using ought to. At the second place, I'm using should or should not. So what is the difference? Let's explore. Now, when we are using should or should not, we are talking about some kind of suggestion, advice, or maybe we are suggesting somebody to do something or maybe not to do something. So as you can see from this chart, the subject can be anything, singular or plural, and the modal will be should or should not. So let's frame one sentence from the given chart. I should call my mom today. You should listen to your teacher. He should not exercise more often because he's doing a lot of that. And we should not have a party. So as per my understanding, I just made few sentences where I used should and should not. In all the sentences, I am giving suggestion or advice maybe to others. And when I am using the subject I am giving suggestion to myself. So everywhere we are suggesting or giving advice. So let's fill up the blanks together. I think you should stay in bed. You do not look well today. Everything is going fine. You should not worry about it. Why is everything going wrong? Life should not be so difficult. Leah should go out more often. She's always at home watching television. So in all the sentences, I am sharing my suggestions. Now, when I am using ought to will be used when I am talking about some kind of responsibility, moral duty, some obligation maybe, and I am instructing somebody that you really not do this or you really need to do this because this is a sense of duty that you must pertain to. So let's have a look at some examples. He ought not to speak so loudly. He ought to take a taxi. I'm talking about some kind of duty or responsibility. There can be other sentences like, you ought to respect your country. We ought to obey our seniors. That ways. Now here we can make the sentences like this. James ought to stop smoking. You ought not to speak to your teacher like that. It is bad manners. We ought to think about getting a new apartment. Please wear your glasses. You ought not to read without them. So I'm talking about some responsibility, duty, or maybe something which is very much required for that situation. So let's complete these sentences. He ought to study or he won't pass the exam. People ought to be happier with what they already have. Please, Greg, you ought not to give chocolate to the dog. It's not safe. It's not good for their health. I really ought not to go to bed so late. I'm always tired in the morning. Now, which is correct from the given sentences? Let's try together. You ought to speak more clearly. We can't understand you very well. I don't think he should go to school if he is unwell. We don't see grandma very much. We ought to visit her. This is our responsibility. I think you ought not speak with your father about it. Or, I'm sorry, I think you should speak with your father about it. He will know what to do. Correct the sentences. The modal used here is wrong, so we need to change it. He should not go to bed so late. I need to go earlier. We ought to speak to her now. We can do it tomorrow, or we'll just say we ought not speak to her now. Do you think I ought to get a new job? We should throw our trash in the street. We should not throw our trash in the street, put it in the can or maybe dustbin. So give suggestions to your friend, and you can use should not, or maybe if you think this is a sense of responsibility, try using ought or ought not in that sentence. Share the sentences with us as well. And for that, you can use the comment section below. So Noah and Aaron say, we want to buy a house, but we also want to go on a holiday. Malcolm says, I can't see very well. I have to read this book. So you can suggest them. You should read this book. You should go for a vacation or a holiday. You ought not to buy a new house as of now. You should try a different locality. So whatever sentences you can think of, try making them. So today you got up late, you walked to work, you arrived late at work. So we need to use should with these sentences. You should have taken the bus. You should not have got up late. You should have walked to work. You ought not arrive late for work, like that. So you did not lock the door of your house. A thief stole some jewelry from your house. What should you have done? You should have locked it properly. You ought to check your lock twice before leaving. You did not make a reservation at the restaurant. There was no space when you arrived at the restaurant. What should you have done? You should have made the reservation in advance. You should have checked some other hotel for a backup, or maybe you ought to be responsible when taking up such events. So as you can as you can see this chart, the subject that are mentioned on the left, I, you, we, they, with them we can use should have when I am trying to suggest you about certain thing, certain activity. And the verb will be in third form because with should I am using have. So my sentence would be like this. I should have called her earlier. You should have listened to her. He should have spoken to me about it. She should have driven more carefully. Like this, you can make up your own sentences. So we use contraction should have in spoken English. And let's try a few more sentences related to that. We should have called you, but I forgot to do. I studied hard, but I failed the test. I should have passed. They should have studied, but now it is too late. Jody should have listened to you. You were right. Complete the sentences using should have. You did not listen to me. You should have listened to me. We should have driven slowly. Verb with the third form. Just remember that. I should have arrived earlier at the airport. You should have tried harder. So can you remember the third form of the verb? Taken, slept, eaten, gone, been, taken, written, like that. So just for your understanding, what should be the third form of the verb for the given words which are there on your screen? Let's try it together. Taken, written, been, told, eaten, bought, hidden, thought, hung, gone, drank, it's drunk. The third form will be drunk, forgotten, and likewise. So let's use should have with the verb. the third form of the verb. I don't have my keys. I should have taken them with me. You were right and I was wrong. I should have listened to you. I went on holidays, but I don't have any photos. I should have caught some. I should have taken some, maybe. I can't play any musical instrument. I should have learned when I was young. We are lost. I told you we should have turned left at the traffic lights. I feel so tired today. I should have eaten breakfast this morning. I didn't know that you were in town. You should have called us. It was $150 yesterday, but now it is $175. You should have bought it earlier. The painting fell off the wall. Someone should have hung it properly. That food was terrible. We should have gone to another restaurant. Oh, my letter. I should have sent it last week. That was a really dumb thing to do. You should have thought about it. So you did it, but you should not have done it. Let's make some sentences. You feel sick. You ate 2 hamburgers, fries, and a milkshake. So what you should not have done, you should not have taken such a heavy meal. And your sister is angry with you. You told her a lie. What you should not have done, you should not have lied to her. So the concept will remain same, verb with third form, subject with should, but in between we will be using should not have. So you should have taken the bus, you should not have taken the bus. I'm just adding not because I'm suggesting in the other way. Like this, you can make up different sentences. Anika should not have drunk so much coffee. You were wrong. I should not have listened to you. I'm sorry, I should not have spoken to you like that. I hope now you are able to witness the difference. Let's fill up the blanks together. I was wrong. I should have listened to you. We should not have slept so late. We don't have much money this month, so you should have bought tickets for that concert. You should not have bought tickets. I'm sorry. I knew you would be scared. You should not have watched that movie. I told you to remember your keys. You should not have forgotten them. You were wrong when I was right. I should have told you. I think that shrimp was bad. I should not have eaten that. That guy is such a gossip. You should not have told him your secret. We are late. I told you we should not have stopped for a coffee. I feel so tired today. I should have woken up so early this morning. I should not have woken up so early this morning. She is not talking to us at the moment. You should not have been so nasty to her. Why did you send the email? You should not have written it when you were angry. Like this, you can practice more sentences, take help of more examples. Most of us, we have tried to share with you. So please keep on watching these videos. We are making it in a very easy and effective manner just for your convenience. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you and good day.